It's story time. The Doll by Krystal, inspired by real events. It's the year 2020 as I tell you this story. It's been a weird year. Some people have been dealing better with the quarantine than others. And just like everybody, I had ups and downs. But I'd like to tell you how I got, well, down here. My nanny was a witch and taught me what she knew before she died a few years back, before my son was born. Usually I'm so busy with work, family, and the rest of life getting in the way, but being stuck at home wasn't all bad. I became quite proficient at tarot. I even started a long-distance coven with a friend at the other end of the province. I guess we took social distancing to the extreme. My friend Jamie is one of the people that had taken this harder. It brought up a lot of old feelings and emotions from their teen years. As a teen, they were very sick and had to be quarantined for 4 months by themselves, and the rest of the friend group left them alone to rest and feel better. It wasn't until basically the end of that 4-month period that the doctors figured out what was wrong. Jamie ended up going down a dark spiral and dropped out of school. We were only in contact sporadically for a few years. We got back in contact more because I got an invitation to be part of their wedding. As a gift, I even made the wedding cake. Since then, between us, we have 3 kids. They started a handmade goods small business and published a book. I started a cider brand with my partner. Life seemed pretty good all around. But then we all had to deal with 2020. And like I said, Jamie hadn't done so well. At first, I thought they were doing great. There were all kinds of joking Facebook posts about how everyone is out acting like quarantine noobs. But over the next couple of months, I noticed they slowly disappeared from social media, not even reacting to posts anymore. I began to send messages daily, checking in. I saw what isolation did to them in the past. I have also had my own fights with the demons of depression. Jamie would respond in a word or two, not really conversing, but it was enough to know they made it through those dark, lonely hours and saw the sun again. At one point, I got really scared. I tried reaching out after a couple days of no answer. I tried contacting their husband and was informed that a combination of mental health issues and chronic illness sent them to the hospital. I felt helpless. I was at least a 6-hour drive away, and I don't have a license. I mean, if I didn't have any other responsibilities, I probably would have tried riding my bike out there. Then a thought came to me. I had a couple of dolls Jamie had made of us as a thank you for being part of the wedding. My kids have played with the dolls a few times. One of them was especially roughly played with. It happened to be the doll made to look like Jamie. Their head came loose. I figured if I was going to fix it anyway, maybe I could improve it a little. I took to one of my Facebook witchy groups. I asked if it was possible to turn it into a more magical doll version of them, like a voodoo doll, but not voodoo, it being a closed practice and all. Most people told me the same thing, that it's all about intent and that Jamie consents to the help. So I sent Jamie a message once I knew they were home and asked if they'd like me to do it, and they said okay. I asked them to send me a lock of hair to help the doll focus on them specifically. I could have used blood, but I thought that might be a little awkward to ask for and for them to mail. When I received the hair, I got out my little dollar store sewing kit and carefully placed the hair inside the body of the doll, and as carefully as I could, I sewed the head back onto the body. As I did, I said a little poem, prayer, spell, call it what you will, to set my intentions, for this to be a proxy for Jamie, that we could spend time together, we could hug when they needed it, hell, even just binge TV together. I tried simple things at first, like when my family went for a walk in the woods behind our house, my Jamie doll came along in the pocket of my hoodie. For quiet time, when everyone else in the house was asleep, I made a bowl of popcorn and sat down to watch whatever. When I found something to watch, I figured I'd invite Jamie to join us and stream it at their place at the same time. I did so by sending a picture of the doll all wrapped up in a blanket on the couch next to a bowl of popcorn. They messaged me back that it was funny because at that moment, they were giving into their sudden craving for popcorn. They could smell popcorn, probably around the time I made mine. We watched a horror movie about a cursed piano or something. I don't know. I got distracted by the conversation we were having. It was much more interesting. Things were great for a while, but then things got weird. I got busy with the Christmas rush. We had a lot of orders for cider as Christmas gifts, so we were working long hours, and I checked in when I could, but admittedly, wasn't more than maybe once a week, if that. One night after coming home late enough that the kids were already in bed, I showered and was about to lie down when I heard crying. My first thought was, great, the rattling of the pipes cooling in this old house woke the kids. I pulled on my bathrobe and went to check on the kids. I got about halfway down the hall to my kids' room when I realized that wasn't the direction the crying was coming from. My next thought was, maybe one of the kids got up to sneak a midnight snack and didn't turn on the lights to get our attention and tripped and stubbed their toe or something. So I headed towards the kitchen. I turned on the lights saying, "You could have come to get me if you needed a snack or something." Then I realized the room was empty. The crying became louder. I realized it was coming from the living room, the next room over. I followed the sound, turned on the lamp to see. I didn't recognize this crying as that of my children. I followed it to the fireplace. I thought maybe something had gotten stuck. Some animals, like cats, can make human sounds. I knew it wasn't my cat since she was fast asleep on my bed. I went back into the kitchen and got a flashlight out of our junk drawer. Batteries were kind of low. It was dim and a little flickery, but it was enough to look up the chimney. I opened the flue and nothing but the night sky. As I stood up, it didn't make sense. At first, I thought maybe I was actually asleep and dreaming. I know now I wasn't, because I was now eye level with the Jamie doll, which was sitting on the mantle. The crying was coming from the doll. I picked it up and hugged it and started to cry. Then I worried, they must be feeling really bad for this to happen. So still holding the doll, cuddling, really, I ran and got my phone and dialed their number. It rang and rang and rang, and then finally, voicemail. I hung up and tried again and again and again, feeling almost defeated. I thought of their partner. I didn't have the phone number, but I tried calling through Facebook Messenger. "Hello?" A very sleepy voice answered. "Hey, it's Sam. Is everything all right?" "Oh, hey, yeah, well, I guess so. It's like 1 a.m. We're all asleep." "Are you sure everyone is asleep?" "Well, I mean, I think so. I've been sleeping in the basement since quarantine started, so I could be wrong." "Please do me a favor. Call it a hunch. Please go check on your partner. They aren't answering the phone." I could hear footsteps and breathing as they traveled up the 3 floors, and then a doorknob rattling, but not opening. Then what I assume is the phone dropping and the banging of trying to get the door open. Then the same crying I was just hearing from the doll. The phone was picked up again. "Thank you for calling, Sam. I need to go and call an ambulance. They won't answer me, and they've scratched through the skin on their arms. I'll update you later." Turns out they hadn't been sleeping, and, well, no one is quite sure what happened. My best guess is their demons caught up with them. They're being treated now. They go to therapy at least once a week. I've since gotten my kids to treat the doll like a sibling. We even set a spot at the table for them. I know it's not my job to make sure other people are happy, but I was really glad that this doll was helping in such an immense way. Which brings me to this night, where I am now. I was awoken by an unfamiliar sound at the foot of my bed. I groggily turned my bedroom light on and saw my cat, surrounded by bits of fabric. She was tearing through the doll, nibbling on the herbs I placed inside of it. It's completely unrecognizable. I can't move. What have I done to Jamie? I'm still sitting here, petrified. I'm too scared to call them up. Thanks for joining me today. And did you know that I offer bone and tarot readings? You can schedule a session at StoriesWithSapphire.com. Salamat and good night.